This
P2P
conference
cycle
will
we
now be
discussed.
recorded.
Right. So let us say I am a procurement production department manager. Right. That is what we discussed yesterday, but let me try to repeat it again. So let me go to one of the Word document. So let us say I am the production department manager, right? So I plan to produce some 10,000 refrigerators or air conditioners in my company as a part of January production, right? So whatever may be the various spare materials that are required for my production purposes, I need to make and ensure the stock should be available already before 1st of January. The stock should be there, whatever may be the spare materials that are required. I need to ensure that stock should be available readily so that I will be able to do the production without any hassle free. Production department supervisor, I plan to produce 10,000 refrigerators. So I need, let us say, to produce 10,000 refrigerators, I need compressors of 10,000 numbers as a spare material readily available in my production processes as a stock. I just take one material as a reference, but you can take all the materials should be available in stock. Then there is one more department known as a production planning, plant maintenance department. Let us say I am the plant maintenance supervisor. So I planned to do a maintenance activity for one of the lathe machine, plant maintenance department. I planned it to do a lathe machine maintenance. So I need to ensure whatever may be the spare materials that are required for the lathe machine maintenance should be available in stock readily. Let us say I need 10 motors to be available in stock so that I will be able to perform the lathe machine maintenance activity in a proper manner. So what these people will do, the first and foremost activity these people are going to do it is, they will go to the stores department and they will verify whether the stocks of 10,000 compressors and the stocks of motor already available in store. If it is available, then it is fine. They will simply withdraw those compressors and the motors and they will go to their relevant departments and they will try to execute their production processes accordingly. Right? So if the stock is there, then it is well and good. But let us say there is no stock available in the stores, right? No stock. So if the stock is not available, then the problem arises. So these people needs to approach one of the person known as a materials planner, right? They will meet that particular person and they will inform, we want 10,000 compressors, we want 10 motors, right? They will inform, we do not have these materials in our company. So then what material planner will do? He will again approach one of the department known as the procurement department or the purchasing department. Why? Because the procurement department or the purchasing department is the department which is only authorized to do the procurement activities. Nobody else in an organization are authorized to do the external procurement of the materials. So that is the reason this person will approach the procurement department and he will inform, we want 10,000 compressors and we want 10 motors. Then what procurement department supervisor will say? Okay, we don't want your watts, we want one authorized document so that against that particular authorized document, I will be able to proceed and do the further procurement of the compressors and the motors. So that particular authorized document in SAP, we will be calling as a purchase requisition. But when it comes to a layman terminology, we will call that particular authorized document as a indent, right? So the step number 1 in the procurement cycle is create purchase requisition or indent. In SAP terminology, it will be called as a purchase requisition, right? Create purchase requisition. So the production department supervisor and plant maintenance supervisor needs to create a purchase requisition or indent. That indent should be thoroughly reviewed and approved by various levels of people. Once it is approved, it should come to the procurement department. So the procurement activity or P2P cycle starts with creation of the indent or a purchase requisition. So purchase requisition can be created in two ways in SAP. One is a manual creation, right? So I can enter all the details or the values of a particular purchase requisition manually one by one, then I can create. So one is a manual creation of the purchase requisition, or you can create a purchase requisition via automatically as well. So the second way of creating a purchase requisition is automatic creation of purchase requisition via a MRP planning program or material requirement planning program. MRP means material requirement planning program. Automatic creation of purchase requisition via a MRP program. Also within a step number 1, we have one more step known as a release procedure or approval mechanism. Approval slash a release procedure. Right, so these are the sub steps that are involved in the purchase requisition creation step number 1. So how a purchase requisition will be created and how it will be created, what settings we need to make while creating a purchase requisition, we will see it in our coming sessions, or I will just give you one understanding how a purchase requisition will be created manually. Right, so manual creation means I need to enter all the details manually, right? So just for your understanding purpose, I'm trying to show it to you how a purchase requisition will be created manually. Right, so let me now go to the SAP and I will try to show it to you how a requisition can be created manually. I will go to Chakravarti and I will try to enter SAP. I will provide the user ID and the password details. Alright, so if I want to create a purchase requisition manually, I need to go to the logistics, then materials management, then purchasing, then we have a purchase requisition, then we have ME51N is the transaction code. I just click on ME51N. So I need to enter. We will see this particular topic in detail when we are coming to the further sessions, but in this session I just wanted to show it to you how a requisition will be created manually. Let us say I want to create a requisition for a particular material number 2. So I need to enter the material number, then quantity which are requested by a department is 1 lakh, and the plant or the manufacturing location is 000, 3000, and the storage location is 0001. Purchasing group is 000. Then purchase organization is 3000. Right, so like this I need to enter all the details manually, and I need to click on check and save button. So my purchase requisition is now created manually as 1608. So this is the purchase requisition which got created manually. Right, I also wanted to create a purchase requisition automatically as well. Means I will not enter all these details manually. Instead, I will try to execute one of the program known as a material requirement planning program. If I execute that particular program, the requisitions will be created automatically, but what settings we have to do it? So if I want to create automatically, we need to maintain some of the parameters within a material master. Those parameters are nothing but the, let me see, like we have some of the parameters known as, let us say I have a motor, right? I need to create this particular motor as a material master within SAP. So we will see what is a material master, all those things. But every material you are going to purchase in your company, so we need to create as a material master. Right, so when you are creating the material master, we need to specify some of the parameter values for the material master. Like one of the parameter is a maximum stock level. I am creating the material master as motor. I need to maintain the maximum stock level. Right, so let us say I will define the maximum stock level for the motor as a stock which I can keep. Let us say I can keep 50,000 as maximum stock in my company for motor. Then minimum stock level. So minimum stock level I can keep it as 15,000. Then safety stock level. So this is also one of the attribute or a parameter, safety stock level. I can keep safety stock level as let us say 20,000. Safety stock means I am going to keep the safety stock for the motor 20,000 numbers. Why I am maintaining the safety stock? Because I wanted to address some of the emergency situations. Let us say there is a strike going on, so I will not be able to receive the motors from the external companies to my company. In such cases, as an emergency situation, I will take the stock as a safety stock which I have stored and utilize that in my production processes. So which is nothing but a safety stock. Then a reorder point level stock. So reorder point level stock. Let us say this is one of the parameter which I am taking as a reference to do the planning activities of a material. So let us say reorder point stock level I will be keeping as 25,000. This is one of the parameter, right? So then let us say today there is a production going on in my company, and the production department people taken 40,000 numbers. I have 50,000 in my company. So production department people raised a requisition or issue slip. Against that particular issue slip, they have requested 40,000 numbers. So then stores department issued 40,000 numbers from this particular 50,000. Then what is the stock that is available upon stores department as a stock after issuing 40,000? So the stock will become 50,000 I have in the morning, right, in my stores department. We issue now 40,000 to production department. Then the net stock in the stores department will become 10,000. Right, so the stock that is available in the stores is now 10,000. So there is one program that is being executed in a 6 hours span of time. Means every 6 hours once the program will be running in the back end. So that particular program is known as a material requirement planning program, which is being set up by the production planning consultants in the production planning module. So when the program is getting executed, what it will do? It will cross check what is the present stock of a motor. Then it will come to know the present stock is 10,000 numbers, right? Then it will compare the present stock against a reorder point level stock. So the present stock is 10,000 only. Then the reorder point level stock is 25,000, right? So it will compare with the reorder point stock level. Then it will understood the present stock is, in this situation, it is below the reorder point stock level, right? Below the reorder point level, stock level. Sometimes the present stock can also be equals to a reorder point level. So there are two situations. One is below the reorder point, and the second is equals to a reorder point level stock. So in both the cases, the system will try to create a requisition to compensate a maximum stock level, right? So for how much quantity it will create a requisition to compensate the 50,000? I want to keep 50,000 as a maximum stock, but I have 10,000 already available. So it will try to create a 40,000 materials requisition automatically for the motor. So against this particular requisition, the procurement department will go ahead and do the further procurement. Then that particular material will be delivered by the vendors to the company premises. Again, my stock will go to the 50,000. I have already 10,000. Again, I received a 40,000 against the new purchase requisition which I have created automatically. Then my stock will become again a 50,000 numbers. So this particular process of maintaining a maximum stock level, minimum stock level, or safety stock level, and creating a requisition automatically via a material requirement planning program can be called as a automatic creation of the purchase requisitions. Right, I will just try to show it to you where we are going to maintain the maximum stock levels, etc. So every material, let us say I'm saying motor, right? Every material needs to be created as a material master in SAP. Let me try to create a material master. Right, so I will go to, just for your understanding purpose, we will discuss all those things in one go in our coming sessions. So let us say I want to create a material for the motor, right? I will go to material master, create general MM01. Let me try to create the material. So I'm just trying to create one material. We have some issues here. Let me create. No, I will select one of the other server. Here we have some issues with the numbering. So I will go over here. I will try to open one more server. Just for your understanding purpose, where we are maintaining these attributes. Let us say I'm creating a motor. The motor will be identified a material number known as 500655857. Let me quickly create a motor. So here you see this is known as a material requirement planning view, where I am going to maintain the maximum stock level, minimum stock level, etc. You see here we have the maximum stock level, right? So I will maintain the maximum stock level as 50,000. Then minimum lot size or a minimum stock level. So I will put maximum lot size also 50,000. And a minimum lot size I will put it as, what is the minimum lot size we mentioned here? Minimum lot size we are going to put it as 15,000. Right, so we will put 15,000. Then a reorder point level. So this is also one of the attribute, that is 25,000. Then we have MRP controller, nothing but a planner. So then we have here in the MRP2 view, we have the safety stock, right? Safety stock, what is the safety stock? Safety stock is 20,000. And the minimum safety stock also, we will put it as 20,000. Right, so let me try to, so these are the material master field details where we are going to maintain the attributes like maximum stock level or minimum stock level or safety stock level or a reorder point stock level, etc. Right, so let me try to save this particular material master. So I just created a material that is 500-65857. I also maintained the stock levels, right? So the present stock of the material is 0, right? But I wanted to maintain 50,000. So we do not have, we have a nil stock for this particular material now. So there is a program that is running in the backend, which is being set by a production planning consultants. When it is executed, it should create a requisition for 50,000 pieces here in this case. Why? Because we have a 0 stock presently available for this material, right? Like if I go to one transaction, I will see, if I go to MMBE transaction, so I will be able to see the stock for this particular material is 0. We do not see no stock available here, right? So it should create a requisition for 50,000 pieces. How it will create? Where it will create? So there is a production planning module. If I go to logistics and production and go to a material requirement planning and total planning MD01, right? So this is the material requirement planning program execution screen, by using which we need to run the program so that it will compare the existing stock against a reorder point stock level and try to create the requisition for the quantity to suffice the maximum stock levels, right? So what is the plant for which we have created this material? TM01. Let me see. So we need to execute, the program will try to execute TM02 is the plant, right? So let us say I will put TM02 and click on enter button and click on enter button and click on enter. So the program is now running. I am running manually, but you can run this particular program on regular intervals as well, right? So when the program is executed, it will create the requisitions on its own, right? So these are the some of the materials. See, this is the material, right? We just created 500-65859, 500-65859. So this is the material. So this is the material for which a requisition will be created automatically, but I just have maintained only the minimum stock level, maximum stock level, but there are so many other parameter settings as well we have to maintain before a proper planning to be executed. I'm not sure whether we have created the requisition here or not, but this is the way it will create a requisitions, right? Right. So let me see if we have the requisition created for this material or not. We have one report known as ME5A, which is nothing but a open purchase requisitions report. If the purchase requisition is created for this material, we will be able to see under this report. Material is 50065, 50065,857, 50065,857. I don't think so it will create, but we have to do a lot of settings, but we will see. It is not created. We are missing so many other settings as well, but this way a program will be executed in the backend. If you maintain all the settings, it will create the requisitions automatically. All right, so this is the sub step of the step number 1, automatic creation of the purchase requisitions via a material requirement planning program. So now we also have one more sub step within this, that is known as a approval mechanism or a release strategy, right? So approval mechanism or the release process. What is this? I created a requisition for 10,000 bearings. I am the supervisor of the production department. I created the requisition, but that requisition should be reviewed by various levels of people, right? Let us say I am the supervisor, production department. I am the level 1 person, right? I created the requisition. So once I created, I need to cross check thoroughly the requisition which I have created, and I need to approve or reject a requisition. If budget is not there, so I will reject the requisition. If the budget is there, everything is fine, then I will accept the requisition. Actually, I need motor, but I created the requisition for bearing, so I need to cancel or the requisition, right? Then level 2 person, let us say I created a requisition, then my boss, assistant manager of the production department, has to review and accept. Either he will reject or accept. Then manager of the production department. Right, so he will also review or reject a requisition. Then senior manager, production department. He will also reject or approve a requisition. Like that, there will be 8 levels of people who will be able to accept or reject or review a requisition. So it requires a lot of configuration settings to set up a approval mechanism or the release strategy for the purchase requisition. So that is a part of step number 1 of the procurement cycle. So any doubts or clarification in the step number 1? Right, so the purchase requisition which I have created as a step number 1 is called as a internal document. Right, so this is the internal document. So purchase requisition will be called as an internal document. Why we are calling this as an internal document? Sandeep, any idea?
No, sir.
We are calling this as an internal document because I am the production department supervisor. I am raising a requisition, and that requisition I am giving it to a procurement department to go ahead and do the further procurement. Here, the procurement department and the production department, both the departments belongs to a same company code, right? Both the departments belongs to a same company. It is not belongs to a separate company. Both are same. Both the departments belongs to a same company, but one department is creating a requisition and handing over to the separate procurement department to go ahead and do the further procurement. Since both the department belongs to a same company, so we will call the purchase requisition as a internal document. It is not a external document, instead it is a internal document. So then what is the step number 2 of the procurement cycle? So the step number 2 is a vendor selection process. So the step number 2 is vendor selection process. So what are the steps that are involved in the vendor selection process? Somebody created a motor and he is requesting 40,000 motors needs to be procured from the external vendors. That requisition came to the procurement department and the requisition is completely approved requisition. So then the procurement department person, the first and foremost activity they are going to do it is they will try to see who and all the vendors that will be able to deliver this material or motor. So the main activity, the first and foremost activity is identification of the vendors in the external market. Identification of vendor from external market. Who will be able to supply the motors to the company who requested or raised a order. Let us say the procurement department was able to identify the three different vendors. One is SKF Motors is the vendor one who will supply the motors, and Premier is one of the vendor who will be able to supply the motor, that is vendor 2. Then HMT Motors is one more vendor who will be able to supply the motors, HMT motor. So these are the three different vendors who will be able to supply the motors. So they have identified these three vendors. So once the vendors are identified, so the purchasing department will raise one of the document known as a request for quotations. So they will call the vendors and they will ask to provide the quotations. I mean, quotation is nothing but what is the price that a SKF company is charging to per motor. What is the price the Premier motor is going to charge? What is the HMT motors going to charge? So those are nothing but a quotations, right? So purchasing department will create a quotation number 1 known as a request for quotation number 1 upon vendor 1 and request for quotation number 2 upon vendor 2 and request for quotation number 3 upon vendor 3. So they will create three individual quotations and those three quotations they will give it to three different vendors and they will ask the details of the price to be supplied by the vendor. So let us say the SKF vendor said they will supply the bearing at the rate of, I will write it down over here. SKF bearing said they will supply the bearing at the rate of 100 rupees per piece. Premier said they will supply 110 rupees per piece. Then HMT said they will supply 120 per rupees. Not only the price, SKF bearing said they will supply the material within 7 days. If I order today, they will supply the material within 7 days. Then Premier said they will take 14 days to supply the material. Then HMT said they will supply within 21 days. Also, the payment, HMT said I can make the payment after 90 days. If they supply the material to me today, they will give you a 90 days credit limit. So HMT Bearings has given a 90 days credit limit. Premier said 60 days credit limit. I can make the payment within 60 days. And HMT said 30 days credit limit. Means if they supply the material to me today, so I need to make the payment within 30 days. Right? So the procurement department will compare these quality, cost, and delivery time. Means if I am selecting a best vendor, so I need to see three different parameters into consideration. One is quality of the product that a vendor is supplying, then cost, and delivery terms and conditions. Delivery terms and conditions. So by considering quality, cost, and delivery terms and conditions, the procurement department is going to compare the quotations and trying to select one of the best vendor out of these three. Right? By comparing the price, delivery terms and conditions, I can say the rank one vendor is the the rank one vendor is SKF vendor. He is the best vendor. Rank 2 is the premier. Why? Because he charging a 120 rupees, 110 rupees. And rank 3 vendor is the premier HMT bearings. Right? So SKF is charging very less amount of money. Also, they will supply within 7 days. Also, they are giving a 90 days credit limit. That is the reason I am giving rank number 1. And for premier bearing, we are giving rank number 2. And for HMT, we are giving rank number 3. So the procurement department will reject the quotation of the HMT bearings. Why? Because he charging a high amount of money compared to other two vendors. And they will keep SKF and Premier bearings as a active vendors. I can also reject the Premier bearing as well, but I don't want to do that. Why? Because I don't want to depend only upon one vendor to get the material. Instead, I will keep two active vendors in the procurement area so that I will not face any issues if some vendor is facing some problems in supply. So this particular process of selecting one of the best vendor based upon quality, cost, delivery terms and conditions will be called as a vendor selection process. So the request for quotation here you are going to raise, right? This also will go for the approval mechanism or a release strategy, right? So do you have any doubts or clarifications on the vendor selection process?
No, sir.
Hello. Okay, so then you selected one of the best vendor as a step number 2. Then we need to create various procurement documents against a selected vendor. So that is nothing but a step number 3. So the step number 3 is create various procurement documents. Step 3 is create various procurement documents. So what are the various procurement documents that we are going to create as a part of step number 3? Those are nothing but we can divide those documents into two types. One is a outline agreement. So outline agreement. Again, within outline agreement, we have two types. One is a contract Within the contract, again, we have two types. One is a quantity contract and a value contract. Again, we have one more type of outline agreement that is known as a scheduling agreement. Within the scheduling agreement, again, we have two types, that is scheduling agreement with release and without release. Without release and scheduling agreement with release. So these are the two types of scheduling agreements. Then we also have one category of the document which we are going to create as a step number 3, that is known as a purchase order. Create purchase order. Right, so we will stop it here today and we will continue on Monday. So normally Sunday there will not be any class. So we will discuss on Monday what is a contract, what is a scheduling agreement, what is a purchase order. Right, so any doubts on today's session? Okay, so if there is no doubts, we can close the session for today and we will continue on Monday onwards. Okay, so thanks a lot for your time. Thank you. Bye bye.
Sir, that first class you have not sent, sir.
That I will send it to you. I need to check where we have the recordings. We will send it to you. Don't worry.
Okay, sir. I have sent you that my mail ID also in the group.
Yeah, I will send it to you.
Yes.
Okay then. Thank you. Bye bye. I am closing the session.